Hello, wonderful people. Today's wisdom hour is going ahead. I have 6 questions here today, and they're really interesting and varied. You can see them on my previous post just below this one if you want to see what they are and get an idea of where you might want to catch up. Okay, so thank you for being here if you turn up, and let's just dive straight in because there's 6 and they might be quite meaty today. So let's see what these people's wonderful wisdom have to say when I tune into their own systems, if you like, through muscle testing. So the first question is, what's blocking me from financial wealth? Okay, now this lady, she said she's been struggling for many years now, and she knows there's light at the end of the tunnel. But, she'd just like to be able to have some of that comfort of having some, money in the bank and paying bills easily and a bit of money left over for treats and outings and holidays and things. Okay, so we're going to find out, and I did goals for these earlier. It's just simply to know what's blocking me from financial wealth is what I got for her, okay? This goal's positive, energetic, when I do it with smell. So when you're watching this, the person who sent this in, could you please turn to your right and walk over to the wall or window there, whatever's there, okay, and simply sniff the wall. No, it's probably a wall. So just have a sniff of it, okay? Now, people often say, what on earth is that all about? Going and getting to sniff things. Well, our olfactory system really connects us to very, very old information and can sometimes, access things in our subconscious that need to be processed. So that's why, okay? And it's a very interesting system. I call it the olfactory system because it's like where we sort of store these things, that sometimes have to go through the old processing factory before we can let them go. Anyway, so it's a question, a statement. You won't keep money in your hands until you are free of a program that you have from your childhood which says, my hands won't grasp, and if I do grasp, I press my nails into my hands and it hurts. I don't like grasping. This program came from your parents who wouldn't hold on to things very easily, and this is a trait that has been handed on. It won't resolve itself easily, but it can be resolved by getting clear on the fact that this is a program and it won't shift through wishing it away or prayer or anything like that. It actually has to be reprogrammed. And you can do this by giving your subconscious a different message with a very strong body metaphor. the metaphor is to grasp something and hold it gently, not tightly, but to get the sense of, I've got you, I've got you, and I'm not letting you go so easily unless I really want to let go of you. Okay? So get that attitude, if you like, when you grasp this thing, and know that when you grasp it gently, your nails don't cut into your hands, and you don't feel pressure, and you don't feel out of alignment. With this metaphor, get your 7-year-old child in front of you and tell her that you want her to have everything she would like, but she has to be prepared to hang on to some things that in the past she would find hard to hang on to. These are things like great pressure to give things away, and great pressure to worry about what others think if she is holding on to something for herself. Tell her that this is not greedy, and that she is a very generous little girl, and that will not change. But for her to be generous, she needs to be able to hold on to some things without pressure to always let go of this energy. It doesn't mean grasping in the sense that you have come to associate with this word. It means a gentle holding of something for yourself, which, when done in the extreme, becomes grasping and won't lead to any wealth or abundance. But you have the power to choose when you gently hold something and when you give it away. Up till now, this has been more of a compulsive trait with you, where you always manage to let the money go somewhere that is not necessarily viewed as the most helpful choice. Your inner child won't want to do this, but you can convince her that this is important by educating her about why she needs to be able to hold on to some things so that she can be even more generous in the future. Anything else? Anything else? Anything else? Okay, so if you want to do any more work around that, you can give me a call and do a free half hour with me around that, where we may give you some specific exercises to do with that inner child. It's a program. It's not going to shift easily, but you can shift it, but you'll have to do some work on it. Okay, next one. This lady gets numb hands that wake her during the night, and she's recently had a sharp shooting pain down into her hand. She's not sure if the two are related, what's causing the numbness, and how can I relieve it. The goal is to keep my heart happy. Now, that's interesting, isn't it? So, these symptoms you are getting are indicative of your heart's unhappiness, and it tries to tell you at night time, when you are less distracted and more able to hear it. Your heart doesn't need any more any more grime, G-R-I-M-E, any more grime added to its memory of the past. It is asking you to stay in the present and get clear about your future, so that you don't keep adding to the load of the past by going back there in your head all the time. Your heart wants to get excited and enthusiastic and motivated about your life, but you can't allow this to happen when you keep going backwards and get your fears activated all the time. When you feel fear, you won't help it by going back and rummaging around in the past. Instead, it is better to sit with the fear and imagine your child part there with you, anywhere from, say, 7 years old to 10, 7 to 10, which is where you can communicate well with language and help this child through. Simply sit with the fear and imagine it as if it is being held by this 7-year-old child, and support her through it. Now, don't go back into the past memories. There is no need. Simply stay in the now and work with the feeling and the 7-year-old or whatever part of you now. As if you had a real child there, simply reparent this part of yourself and give her what she needs to feel less fearful and less worried and less lonely. You can use your imagination and words to give her great comfort, For example, imagine giving her a hug or putting her on your knee and wrapping your arms around her, telling her she is safe. You are safe. You are looked after. I won't let anything bad happen to you because I am an adult, and you can simply relax and play. Okay, so that's what I've got about why you're getting these funny little symptoms at night. Now, whenever we talk about heart things, people start to panic a bit and think, oh, is my heart getting a bit dicky, you know? When you go to your doctor, there is no harm in getting him to check your heart, because over time these sorts of things can influence the heart health. But this is your heart telling you, by impeding the circulation, that you need to look at this. Okay, so, you know, I never ever want to stop anybody going and, you know, getting any medical check. I always say, listen, get as much information as you can from all angles. That's my motto, because, you know, as intelligent human beings, we can do that, right? We don't have to listen to just one thing. There's just one aspect. Okay, moving on. I'm doing a speech and drama class, and I'm really enjoying it, but I know I'm holding back in the exercises and games. How can I let myself just be in the drama class? The goal I got here was to engage my every spontaneous impulse. I love it. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I used to teach drama and all sorts of theatre, improvisation, characterisation, all sorts of things around theatre and drama for many years as a part of a performing arts school in New Zealand, and then over here in Ireland as well, with community groups and with youth theatres and things like that. So I love when I hear people are doing drama classes. Very good for you. Up, you know, good on the arts. They're a great place for us to process stuff and help ourselves stay healthy and sane. So, to engage my every spontaneous impulse. Positive, active, clear energy. Receptive expressions. You want to read something. She wants to read it. I need to read it. Something here in this room, on the table, behind me, in front of me, left of me, right of me. Okay. Up there. No. Something here. No. Over there. That one. Okay. This one. Is it this one? This one. Okay. This is what it says. Oh, you can't read it, can you? Because it's back to front. Sorry. I'm just going to have to read it out to you. I am a vibrant, motivated, and growing great spirit who achieves everything I set out to do with ease. That's what it says. Okay. It's not a bad message, is it? That's why I've got it up on my wall. So, this message comes to you from your great spirit today to remind you that you are much greater than you remember and think. Your great spirit is, in fact, growing all the time, every time you step over into a fear and simply allow yourself to do something. Your classes get you in a fearful state because you place too much pressure on yourself to be perfect. All of the drama exercises are about spontaneity and simply, as you said, being yourself and being in the moment. Your great passion for this type of training is wonderful, but you don't need to be perfect at anything. In fact, within spontaneity exercises, it is normally, and it says normally the case that when you think you've made a mistake, that it opens up possibilities within the improvisation. So play with this and simply say what rolls off your tongue, or do whatever you instinctively feel like doing, and don't worry about it. It is fine. When you simply allow yourself to be yourself, you will find that this is an amazing, freeing exercise for you. You need to tell yourself that it is perfectly okay to make lots of mistakes, and in fact the mistakes are often the doorway to great creativity. So to limit yourself in fear of making a mistake is absolutely the most unhelpful thing you can do. Prepare to make lots of mistakes and be delighted with them. And if your teacher does not appreciate this way of moving into this work, they are not a very skilled tutor. The fact is, every exercise or improvisation within a drama environment doesn't come to fruition or perform well as something that you would show others. That is the nature of a creative process. A painter might paint 20 paintings and only show one of them. And this is normal, because in the process of making art and creating, you will be taken down many roads, but only some will have what you want for the purposes of production. So don't worry about that, and know it is flexing your creative muscles every time you step boldly and make a mistake and laugh about it in your head and go, wow, that was a brilliant mistake, because now I know that mistakes are in fact portals to great creativity. And even if they aren't in some situations, they they present many learning opportunities. So either way, win-win. Win-win-win-win-win. Anything else? Anything else? Okay. So, yeah, often people brought up in very strict educational settings, which many, people over here in their later years were, where you had to have the answer right, got to have the right answer. There's only one answer and it's the right answer, and anything else is rubbish and you're put down for it, or you're made to feel bad, or you haven't learnt your stuff or whatever. That carries over. That definitely carries over into the way we kind of perceive ourselves in the world, that we've got to get it right, But as to the beauty, and this is what I love about the arts, is that you don't have to get it right. You don't. You just discover. You process. You go through things. You try things out. You do something and you go, God, that's rubbish. That didn't work out very well at all. But it's not rubbish, But maybe it didn't work out well or the way you wanted it to, but that doesn't matter. And then you look at it and you go, oh, but if I take that and just use that tiny little square of it there and do that, oh, now that could be quite interesting. And that's often, I know myself in creating shows and things, it's often where we go with material, we take these tiny little nuggets out of what may have been seen as a pretty messy, not some sort of fantastic show type thing. But we took the nugget and then we work it and we expand on that or whatever. So just be prepared to, go into a discovery place and really welcome making lots and lots of mistakes. That's a really good thing to do within drama. Yeah, okay. So when you're doing training, Right. Next one. I feel I'm rebelling against what society thinks is best for me. That is things like security, money, babies, and the baby question is in my face. I presume she means because of her age or whatever, okay? Time-wise, she said, yeah. So how do I differentiate between just being rebellious and what I simply don't want for my life? So she's not sure if she's just sort of rebelling generally or if this is real stuff for her, that she really doesn't want certain things, okay? The goal I got for this was to place myself in the centre of my world, all right? To place myself in the centre of my world. Okay, this goal is positive. Happy to come in here, we want to work on receptive experience. Some inner wise. Okay, I'm just going to grab some inner wise. Okie dokie. Three. These are little energy cards that I use from the Inner Wise system, Dr. Uwe Albrecht's system. These are little like first aid cards, actually, these ones. And they just look like this. They just have a little number on them. Yeah. And they're kind of cool, actually, so I need to hold them. I need to put them somewhere. Down here, okay, so I'm just going to pop them down on my tummy for you. This is for you. Right. How does it feel to be right down beneath your navel? Focus there for a moment and get a reading of how it feels there. This is your creative center, and it won't bow to society's pressure. You are correct in that society does put many pressures on us to conform to what is it? Conform to the practice of being productive in the world. This means that when we are producing something, we feel validated by society. This can be children, or products, or services, or building a house, or getting people what they need. But our great spirit doesn't care if we are productive or not, because our place in the universe is an energetic one, and it won't change according to what we produce or not in our lives, but expands in response to our response to this. Our priorities on getting the things in our lives that bring us joy and that create forward momentum and that help us to unfold as evolutionary beings. In doing or being this, we are helping to unfold the universe, and this is our purpose in this life. We are unfolding and blossoming just the way a beautiful rose or flower does, and we don't ask a beautiful rose to produce anything except to be itself and to place itself in what? Place itself in perfect harmony with its natural state. This means that a rose will blossom beautifully when it has the right nourishment and the soil underneath it is supportive. So when you make decisions about what you want and where you want to be to do it, think about how these places and or things support you to be the wonderful, natural being that you are. Notice we say the being, not the doing that you are. We all know that a little baby doesn't produce much except urine and feces and vomit. But we love this child like no other, and we don't mind if it throws up down our back. We don't expect it to paint a Picasso or build a building. We love this child because its true spirit is present without the ways of the world stopping it from shining through and simply being him or herself. When we find humans, adults, who are being simply themselves, you know that you love them and that you want to be with them and that you are happy if they do very little, because their presence is so profound and you just love being around their energy. This is who you and anyone can be, and then you can make choices about what you would like to do in terms of being productive in your life. But first, nourish your true being by placing yourself in nourishing environments, and people will take you for who you are and not what you've done or achieved. In this place, you can be highly productive if that's what spins your wheels. And for many people it does, and that's fine. But don't prune yourself by putting yourself with people or environments or organizations that don't nourish you. Think about this first, and then become productive. Anything else? Okay, so I hope that might be a little bit helpful. Have a different perspective, isn't it? I love the rose analogy. Yeah. Don't prune yourself too early. Otherwise if you do it too early or at the wrong time, you can end up with no roses. Okay, next one. Ooh. I never have any idea what time it is doing these. It's like I've been beamed off somewhere else and I come back and I just have no idea if that took a minute or 10 minutes. I have no idea. Okay, the next one. I just need a little drop of water. Now, right. This person's feeling very stressed and tense. She's not sleeping well. She had a breakup about 3 months ago, and she's worrying about getting things in like assignments for college and also an operation that's coming up. She says it feels like there's a lack of control and a lack of safety. Okay, so she's asking how she can feel less stressed and sleep better so she can get on with her assignments and, and be able to sleep better and just feel a bit healthier, a bit more kind of together about all of it. Okay? The goal I got for her was to stay present in my wounded state and allow my energy to transform. Now, this is interesting, isn't it? Okay. So, your wounded self won't get priority from you while you are so busy, but you can get a gentle road in to this to release some of the pain you are holding from your breakup and your health issues. Your wounded self isn't getting any better because you've had no real time to process what you've been through. So you can do some processing in this simple way that doesn't interfere with your very busy schedule during the day. Before sleeping, imagine yourself as a small child at about 5 years old, and notice that this little girl is pained, and see it in her face and imagine giving her all of the love and comfort she needs to process this pain. Your imagination is great because you can work through this very fast, much faster than if it was in the real world, but it does access your subconscious and is able to help you process your feelings. So give her everything she needs to feel safe and warm and supported and comfortable. And if she is complaining about her sore hip or is worried about the other hip, then kiss it better for her and cuddle her and tell her that you won't let anything bad happen to her. Get her to tell you about any any worries she has, and you be the good parent and help her through those worries. Accept everything she says and don't try to stop her from expressing. Instead, keep quiet if she starts talking and allow herself to really experience and prepare to comfort her as she gets more and more into this. Listen to her. Don't try and think ideas or thoughts into her, but just stay in a state of presence to this younger part of yourself. And she will disclose her fears and worries and what is stopping her from getting what she needs. You need to identify what she needs and simply give it to her. In your imagination is enough, because your imagination doesn't know the difference between now and then, today or yesterday, and your subconscious is the same. You may ask, why would I work with the little child when all of these things have happened in my recent past as an adult? This is because your inner child experiences all of the events that you go through too. All parts of us, all parts of you as a brilliant, amazing, multi-dimensional being are there. And when we experience great pain or suffering or emotional distress, the child part of us won't rest until she feels comforted and heard and greatly supported. This is, of course, part of us. We only separate this out so you can do the work. This is an intrinsic part of you, but we make it extrinsic so you can do the exercise, that's all. Look after this part of yourself. Give her what she needs every night before you sleep. And she won't be crying out in the night, hoping you will hear her and give her what she needs. If you awaken in the night, once again imagine her there beside you and simply ask her what is troubling her, and once again talk her through, comfort her both physically and emotionally and with words and kindness. Don't make her wrong, and don't try to stop her expressing her feelings. This is the worst thing you can do if you want to sleep afterwards. This does not take long. It can feel like you're doing it in your head for a half hour when in fact it has been 30 seconds. The mind is kind of brilliant like that. Okay. I hope you can have a play with that so that it helps you to process some of these difficult things that you've been going through, and let that part of you that part of us that always kind of needs, comfort and support, that you can give it to yourself and allow a more peaceful sleep after that to energize yourself. Okay. Last one. Here we're going. Look, see? The general operating device gets it right every time. I'm bang on time. 5 more minutes for the last one. This is crazy. It's a wonderful world we live in. Now, I've been overdoing it, and my glands have been swelling up. Any tips to help with a swelling throat apart from just the normal self-care stuff? Okay. Now, I got a very interesting goal for this. To work my vocal cords in a new way. That's what it says. Okay? So, you won't what? Get better quickly unless you express your it's child stuff. Express your child's great dislike of something that has been going on in your life. This thing is to do with relationship, and you need to say clearly how you feel about this situation. You need to say it out loud and with the general priority of expressing your feelings about it, not getting into the story or the details of what has happened, but saying clearly how you feel about it. This will take pressure off your, it's not vocal cords, off your glands, no, off your nervous system, and this will allow your healing energies to flow in this area. While you hold this in, you won't allow the energy to move easily around this area, and you will find that it will get worse because it is trying to tell you to express yourself. So do yourself a favor and do this fully about this situation. Anything else? That's it. That's it. Okay. I hope that helps. Now, so that's it. We're just about bang on. So just so you know, if you've started watching anywhere through here, or if anybody watches later, I know a lot of people are busy, but if you come later, please send me a like or make a comment or anything. It's always great to get those, just to help to get more people to see things. If you want to put a question in for next week, anybody, I'm going to put the link up. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/wisdom hour with a capital W, capital H. And it will just take you to give me an email address. I don't get your name, just an email address, so I can send you a newsletter. You can unsubscribe, of course, at any time. But then it takes you straight to a little form where you fill in your question and just give me a little bit of background. It's basically just like the background I've read out here is what people have given me, which is brilliant. It just gives us a context so that anyone listening can kind of go, yeah, I'd be interested in that. I've got something similar like that going on myself. So that's what really helps, why it's helpful to have that little bit of context, okay, but not like screeds of it. So, yeah, do feel free to pass on that link to anybody you think may benefit, and remind them that, their name won't be mentioned. Nobody will know who they are. I do try and be sort of discreet in the way I put things forward, so it's not really obvious that it's a certain person. And yeah, do it. Put in a question. I mean, these have been great questions today. Thank you for sending them in. I know for some people it's it feels kind of a bit scary even putting a question forward because it's something you're struggling with, and I appreciate that. But every time you share a problem, you may get some help yourself, and you may also end up helping a lot of other people, which is absolutely fantastic, because these are all going to stay up for the foreseeable, and you just never know who might access them and be feeling really down and out and just needs to hear the answer to your question. You never know, because the general operating device is pretty darn clever, and I find that some of these answers have been ending up in some interesting people's inboxes, and then they come to me and we can really help them. So it's brilliant, really. So listen, I hope you all have a fab day and a great weekend, and as I say, anybody who has submitted a question for today, if you haven't already had a free half-hour session with me, you are most welcome to sign up for one through my website, okay, katiekalin.com. That's Katie with an IE, kalin.com. And you'll see there's a free half-hour session there, but I only offer one of those per person, all right? And so do feel free if you want to do a little bit more work with me online about this issue that you're having. Okay, folks, that's it, I think. Have I forgotten anything? Oh, just that if you are a lady, I have a group called Wonderful Women's Wisdom. And it's a private group where I used to do these readings for people, but I decided going public was a better idea so more people can get to see it. But if you want to go to a nice private group where you can get some inspiration and feel like you're if you wanted to share something with the group and maybe get feedback, Wonderful Women's Group is a lovely, peaceful, gentle place where you can seek support or offer support to anyone you see on there who may be having difficulties. Okay, so it's generally very positive. I post something every day, just a hashtag, so that if you feel like writing about it, you can. And it's just to help us refocus ourselves when maybe, how life can be a bit tricky sometimes, to give you something positive to focus on and to get your mind focused on that instead. So that's it from me, folks, and thank you for being here. Bye-bye.